Hey there, this is a video kind of outlining a few things that I've run into while working on my 2012 Legacy. Some things that you don't run into on YouTube there all the time. I know I couldn't find any videos about any of it really, so I'm just going to cover a few points. This first internet video, so probably get that new internet sound to me. So first off, this is throwing a P0028 or whatnot. It's a variable valve timing, and I'll post it on there. Variable valve timing solenoid code. So, watch a few videos. First thing I did, test the solenoid, test the switch. Replace the switch just for in case, but the solenoid seemed to be functioning well and all that. So whenever you look up these P0028 codes or the variable valve timing codes, everybody shows you the passenger side, which is much easier to get to. This one's not that big of a deal. I really I had a hard time even finding out that there was a screen in the variable valve timing, and I'll get to that in a second. First off, everybody, makes videos, and they look pretty easy. A lot of things for me being here, centrally located in the Rust Belt, did not go that smooth. For starters, okay, a lot of people you say you need to disconnect this and that. All you need to do, take off your serpentine belt, remove the crank pulley. I just use the serpentine belt, kind of bind it in there to hold it. They say, oh, it'll break loose easy. It was not easy, but it came loose. Then they say pop the pulley off. Well, that's a lot easier said than done on my particular vehicle. Everybody said give it a wiggle. It took a lot of wiggling and tapping carefully so that hopefully it's not damaged, and taps, wiggles, pries, and eventually it did come off, so be persistent. So once the crank pulley was off, then we got to the timing cover. Everybody, all remove these 10mm bolts from the timing cover. Yeah, right. So that's what they look like, and this isn't. Sorry, I don't know. Well, this isn't really for me rounding it off. I use the right size socket. I've got good, Mac sockets and stuff. This is just the heads were rusted off of them, and they were in there really well. I got them all out eventually, with the exception of one that did snap off. There it is, right there. But that'll be all right. What I found is that the timing cover was very brittle, and I realized that I wasn't able to get on them with the timing cover intact. So I kind of started out at the top, and you really can't see it, kind of broken into some pieces, but basically, and you can see one right there, I just took a large pry bar, like so. And I set it on there, and you can see this one I got on there this way, and gave it a light tap with a 5-pound sludge to snap the plastic off around it. They were in there really good with the timing cover off for some reason, and maybe they were holding around these edges, or for whatever reason, they once the timing cover was off of there, you could see where actually the plastic stayed on this one. I was able to get on them a lot better, and they actually, sorry, not focused well, seemed to be a lot looser. They didn't stick in there that well once the timing cover was broke off, so I don't know why that was. It was kind of strange, but anyway, look, on the internet, you know, eBay, and these timing covers. I mean, the first seller I saw had sold 400 and some of them, and the screws were the same way for it. So apparently, I'm not the only one who's had this issue. However, in the videos, you know, everybody made it look like a no big deal thing, whereas it took me a lot longer than I had anticipated to get that cover off there. So moving on, once you've got the cover off, you are down to your timing belt, and that's simple enough. There's a lot of videos on timing belts and stuff. I'm going to be replacing my timing belt pulleys, water pump, thermostat, all that while I'm here. But these aren't impossible to get to. Basically, if you're doing a timing belt service, once you get your timing belt off, you'll pop your camshaft pulley off. Again, it seems like a big deal. It's not. Line up your timing marks and just go ahead and take your serpentine belt off. I actually use my your timing belt. I use my old serpentine belt. I wrapped it around the camshaft pulley and around my AC unit, actually, I think, and it wasn't that hard to break loose. I just kind of wedged the belt in there, and not a big deal. So once I had the cam pulley off, it was just 3 screws behind the cam pulley that held the smaller rear cover on. Sorry, I know, keep a clean workspace and all this. So let's see. Anyway, I know, keep a clean workspace and all that, but so you take that rear timing cover off, and at that point, it's just right there staring you in the face. So when I tested it, like I said, it was hard to discover that screen even existed in there. And then once I did, I tried various things. You know, of course, I checked the oil, changed the oil, tried some oil cleaner, which, you know, not necessarily something, you know, whatever. But nothing broke it loose. Once I decided, you know, I had already tested and decided that the VVT solenoid was good, that the switch was good, so I decided that screen was clogged. Looked up tons of videos and never did find one, I don't think, for doing this job. But this isn't really a step-by-step tutorial, because, you know, you're going to need some tools and mechanical knowledge. If you're going to do this, you can look up, you know, videos how to get this far. But what I found when I got in there, the screen, which I fully expected to be clogged, was actually almost non-existent. So you can see there's the, I'll call it the collar for the screen, and all I found of the screen down here in that corner is that. So you know, I'm a little confused by that. I mean, I expected to find a clogged screen, so I would imagine since this screen was wadded up and down the bottom, it could have been blocking the solenoid, but I don't think so. You could hear it click good. I didn't think it was getting oil pressure, and even though I obviously don't like that screen, I don't know that it was blocking oil pressure. So of course we'll clean that, replace that screen, put it back together. I may even just install the old timing belt back on it and try it before I finish the job, see if that got it taken care of. Although to replace the solenoid itself, just the top, you see that 10mm screw, and all that you really need to do, everybody says, you know, basically you gotta take that all the way apart. You don't. You can see this right here, and I just took a Dremel and barely ground the edge off of this. Not, you know, it's not a big deal. It's a lot of casting there. And then you can slide. I just used a 1/4-inch drive, 10mm with an extension or whatever, and I was able to get that solenoid out of there without ripping anything apart. you could do that while everything's together, and it's not a big deal at all if you just wanted to get to the solenoid, whether that be to replace it or test it or what have you. Um, so yeah, just some things that I ran into dealing with this P0028 variable valve timing code. Um, not that big of a job. I mean, not that scary, depending on your mechanical knowledge. You know, I'm not an expert, but I can get stuff done. It's just like the plugs are, you know, when I seen a video, they say, oh, raise the engine, it makes it, like, maybe that makes it easier, but compared to, you know, a sport bike or something, um, doing the spark plugs on this was, I mean, just easy. Um, and I didn't have to take anything apart. All I did was, you know, reach in here and pull the coils and change the spark plugs and put the coils back in and call it a day. So, all right. Again, like I said, first one. Try not to talk too much. It's a long enough video. You can fast forward through stuff if you need to. I like the car. I got a good deal on it. It's got its issues, you know, but the interior I really like. Doesn't look good in the video, but the black leather and stuff is for a work car. You know, we buy the wife nice cars, but for my beater, this is a deluxe model. So for what I got it for, I figure I'll do all the maintenance, and that way, you know, if I bought one for $5,000, then I'd have to put $1,000 or $2,000 in it anyway. So, you know, get this for a couple $1,000 and go ahead and just do anything it needs, and then I know I'm ready to go. So, all right. Hope this helps. Like I said, not a step-by-step tutorial, but just some highlights of information that could come in useful through the process. So the cover wasn't bad. Cover was like $60 for an OEM one. I think I paid $20 for all the screws, and with the OEM water pump and thermostat, and a Gates timing belt kit. So, all right, have a good one.